Thanks everyone for joining. Today what we're going to do is take a quick look at Project Work Ready, which is a solution built for Project Online by Project360. Today we'll start with creating an intake request. We'll look at how that request becomes a project, and then we'll look at how that project can sync with Microsoft Teams and Planner, and then how your team can collaborate to work on the project and use Microsoft Teams to do that. So here we're on the home page. The home page is made up of a couple of different parts. There's the logo on the top left that will always reload this home page for you. So as you start to navigate to different areas of the system, this logo will bring you back to this main page. There's a quick launch menu along the left side, and this is a list of links to different areas in the system. There are also these green tiles here. These green tiles are also active links that you can click on to access different areas of the system. So what we'll do is we'll start out by creating a new request. Notice there's a link on the quick launch for that, and there's also a tile. So I'm going to open this in a new tab. And we're directed to a new item form here to create a new request. So I'm going to enter in a few of these details. So we'll give our request a name. When this becomes a project later on, this request name will also be the project name. I'm also going to indicate a project sponsor and a request type. The next thing I'll do is work through the form and start to fill in some of these fields. A lot of these fields can be set up to display on the project once it's created. So once this request gets approved, then we'll see some of these same descriptions that we're typing in here display on the project as well. Notice that on this request, there are different tabs along the top. So what we'll do is we'll work our way through the tabs and make these entries. Here, we can enter in our desired go live date. Once we're satisfied with each tab, we can move forward and fill out the next tab. These are configurable, so the entries that we have here now can be updated to reflect your organization's needs. On the scoring tab, we have a couple of different ratings that we can enter in here. So you'll see the different areas or the different ratings here, and then for each one, we can select a score. These scores can be weighted, they can the priority score is calculated based on our selections in real time. And this priority score can be used to evaluate these requests and compare them. So once we've got the scoring in there, we'll move over to the Attachments tab. If there are any relevant attachments, we can click on the Attachments button there and include our attachment here. Once we're done working on all the tabs, the next thing that we can do is save this request. Saving this request is going to start the approval process. So here we're seeing a list of all of the different requests that are in the system. What we're going to wait for now is for an approver to approve the project for us. As soon as that occurs, what we'll see is that our project is going to be created. The Project Center is where all of the different projects live. So if we click on the Project Center, we'll see a project that has the same name as our request listed here. So as we scroll down here, I'll see this campus construction project that's listed here. The ribbon structure that Microsoft uses and a lot of its applications are also used in Project Online. So the ribbon has a lot of icons that we can use to interact with this project. If we wanted to create a new project without the approval process, there is an option to do that by using the new button here. There are also different views that we can set up. So you can see now I'm looking at projects by portfolio. Based on the portfolio my projects belong to, that's how they'll display on this page. Right now, I'm going to open up this project so we can start to work on the project details, and I'm going to click on the project name. Once our project opens, we'll see that there are different pages along the left side. These pages are called project detail pages. In order to update these project details, I'll need to check out the project. So on the project ribbon, I'm going to click Edit. And we'll see that our project is checked out. Notice that now all of these fields here are editable. So some of these fields carried over from the request that we just worked on. And then there are some additional fields now that we're in the project phase. So some of these fields have an ellipses where we can then select an option. As we scroll through here, we might want to review some of the other entries because things might start to change since the request was first submitted. And then another interesting thing we'll see here is that some fields are going to be required. So I will have to add entries for those fields. Now that I've made those entries, I'm going to save this page. We'll see the progress displaying here on the top right. Notice that there is on this page a calculated field. So now that I've saved these entries, now we're seeing the ROI calculated value here. What we'll do is we'll work through these different pages on this project and start to make a couple more updates. So when we're designing these pages for you, some of what we'll want to think about are the information that you'll want to collect for reporting purposes. This information can be used to group your projects in the project center or to report on them and compare different projects within the same portfolio or the same program or the same department. Next, we'll go over to the schedule project detail page. You'll see that my schedule already contains some tasks. So there's a template that's associated with this project. And what I did here is I've already gone in and made a couple of assignments. So you'll see in the resource names column that we've got some assignments made here. Before we can assign anybody to a task, we first need to add them to our team. To add someone to a project team, you'll go to the project ribbon and click Build Team. What you'll see in the Build Team window is going to be a list of all the available resources on the right side. And notice that these are all separated out by the type of resource. And then once we select a resource, I'll select accountant, you add them to your team. Everybody that's listed here on the right side is someone that's on our project team. To move forward, I'll have to save and close this window. And when we get back to the schedule, we'll see that in the resource names column, we can make more assignments there. So here I've got the analyst assigned to some of these. If I need to change that to the accountant that I just added to this team, I can do that. So we've got resources assigned to some of these tasks, either named resources or generic resources. The next thing that we'll want to do is choose whether we sync these tasks with Teams and Planner. So we have two options here when it comes to syncing a project or tasks with Teams and Planner. The first option is whether or not you want to sync your actual project with Teams and Planner. To make that selection, there's a field called Microsoft Teams and Planner integration. When yes is selected here, it means that when I publish this project, that a team and Microsoft Teams will be created that has this same project name here. So in addition to choosing whether we sync our entire project with Teams and Planner or not, we can also select whether or not we sync individual tasks. So at the task level, there's a Planner sync column here. And in this column, we'll want to just enter in a yes or a no value. Anything that displays yes here is going to sync with Microsoft Teams and Planner. And then everything that's blank or has no in it will not be synced over. In addition to choosing whether or not we want these tasks to sync with Teams and Planner, we also have the option to add them to a Planner bucket. And that Planner bucket, we'll see when we go over to Microsoft Teams in a moment, but that has an impact on how these tasks display in Teams. It's possible also if we have multiple resources assigned to the same task, we can decide if we want to have two separate planner tasks to represent that one task, or if we just want to keep that as one task with two people assigned. All right, so I've selected no in all of these. I've also added a planner bucket for each of these tasks that I've chosen to sync with Teams and Planner. To kick off the sync with Teams and Planner, all you need to do is publish your project. So it takes a few moments to publish. Um, what we'll do once this publishes is we'll close this project and check it in, and then we'll move over to Microsoft Teams. All right, so we're in the web version of Microsoft Teams. We can see my teams listed here. So I have these 4 teams that are showing now. Since we're opening up a different application, I do want to take a moment just to give you a little bit of orientation in Teams. So first thing that we'll see, because I'm in the web version, is I'll see the Microsoft App Launcher and the title of the app that I'm in. There's also a search bar here. So if I know that I'm part of a project with the word content in it, I can type in content and start to see some of the teams or files that I have that are related to that. So this is called your command bar up here. You can type in a slash and also see some quick and easy commands that you can use as well here. So this is pretty useful. The other thing I want to show you as far as navigation in Teams goes is this left bar here. This left bar is going to have different buttons on it. So you'll see there's an activity button. So I'll see some of my approval requests and projects that I've been added to listed here. In the chat, I'll be able to see some of my recent conversations. If I can share files through the chat as well and see those on the files menu within that chat. There's the Teams button, and we'll come back here and spend a little bit more time. There's also a calendar which syncs with your Outlook calendar. So you'll see everything that's in your Outlook calendar listed there. You'll see also your ability to make calls and see voicemails. They transcribe here as well, so you can read them or listen to the voicemails. There's also a place to look at your recent files and your OneDrive files. So if we're going back over to the Teams button, one of the things that we'll first see here are all of the teams that we've joined or that people have added us to. Right now, we're going to focus on the campus construction project that we created for this demo. Notice that every team is going to have a channel below it. With the Microsoft Teams and Planner integration with Project Online, what we do is we use this general channel that comes with each team, and we put these different tabs on the general channel. So to work on the team, it may involve working through some of these different tabs that we'll see here. So we'll take a few minutes to look through these tabs. The first tab here is the Posts tab, and this is a really important place for a team to collaborate and interact with each other. So there are a couple ways that we can do this. There's a passive way of looking at this where as a team member, I might want to scroll through here and I can see some high level information. One of the things that we do on the Post tab is we add this mini project status report when the project is published. So this has some high level information that might be useful for the team. And then as I scroll down through here, I can see other conversations that people have had. Or if I want to be less passive here, I can start a new conversation. When you start a new conversation, you've got a couple of different options here. So you can use these buttons at the bottom to enhance your conversation. I can format the text in this conversation. I can attach a document here. And this could just be uploading a file from my computer. In the text part of this conversation, I can send a general message to the team, or I can use the @ feature to mention a person, or to mention the whole team. What that'll do once I send this message is it'll give everybody that I've mentioned here a little activity alert so that they know that they've been mentioned somewhere. If you look at the choices along the bottom here, you can also insert smileys and GIFs and stickers and stream recordings. So you've got a lot of options here. I'm going to go ahead and send this message. So as you're working on this tab and you scroll down through here, you'll start to see messages that people have sent, and then people can react to these messages. Notice the response options. You can respond with all of the options that we looked at a little while ago. I can also respond by scheduling a meeting. I can say that we're going to meet right now and automatically have everybody that's here included in a meeting. So that's something that we can do to interact with our team and share information. Another thing that we can do, another way we can interact with our team here is we can create a meeting. So we looked at the way to create a meeting in response to a message here. You can also use the Meet drop-down at the top. So I'm going to click on the drop-down and click Schedule a Meeting. And scheduling a meeting here is a lot like scheduling a meeting in Outlook. So I can add a title, and then I can start to add in required attendees. So I'll invite Josh there. There's a scheduling assistant here, just like we see in Outlook, so I can look for a time that we're all available. I can set a recurrence pattern. Notice that the channel and the team are both tagged here. So we'll see what the result of that is in a few minutes once I send this meeting out. I'll add in some meeting details. So because the channel is tagged on this meeting, when I send this meeting invitation out, we'll see this meeting invitation right here on the Post tab. So what this does is it gives everybody on the team a chance to join this meeting. And one of the best things about this is that if we record this meeting, then the meeting recording will automatically be here on this Post tab right as part of this conversation. So if anybody was out of the office or they were double booked and they missed the meeting, they can easily catch up and get in touch with everybody here. We can also chat and have a chat conversation with the people that were in the meeting. And in the meeting, you'll see that there is a chat section there. So any chat that happens before the meeting, during the meeting, or after the meeting will all be saved along with this entry on that Post tab. So that's pretty interesting. And another option that we have that's pretty nice too is that if we're going to be interacting with our team, a lot of times we do that now over email. The other thing that we do over email a lot is that we'll send documents to each other. And that, of course, causes some problems because those documents may get lost. And then maybe weeks or months later, we've got a bunch of people that are looking for that document through their email. What we can do with our emails and our team conversations is we can email or copy the team when we send an email. So I'm going to click the ellipses on the channel here and choose Get Email Address. All I need to do is copy this email address. And I've got a pre-written email here. I'm just going to paste in the email address for the team and send that out. But what this does is it saves this email and its contents to this channel. So we'll see that pop up in just a minute here. We've now got this email that that was already set up with the attachment all listed here. From here, we can all collaborate on this document. This document, because we've shared it with the team, is automatically going to be saved under Files, as well as a new folder for all email messages. So what's great about collaborating with your team in Microsoft Teams is that multiple people can work on a document all at the same time. So when you click on the ellipses and choose Open, You can choose to edit this in Teams so that you don't have to open up another app. You can open it in the desktop app, which a lot of people are most comfortable with, or you can open it for editing in the browser. And with these different options, multiple people can make updates at the same time. So we'll kind of move through more of these tabs. There is the Schedule tab. As the owner of this project, I'll be able to view and update the project schedule through Teams. So this is the same schedule that we saw in the browser earlier. Because I am the owner of this team, um, what I'm able to do is edit this project the same way that I did in the browser and make some quick updates. So if I'm already in Teams and I start to realize that I want to review my project schedule and maybe mark some of these tasks as completed or add a new resource to one of these tasks, I can quickly make these updates here. So one of the other things that happens when a project is created is that a project site is created to go along with it. In that project site, you'll see that there is a document library, and that's what this project documents area here is related to. The project site is accessible here in Microsoft Teams and also in the browser. So here what we'll do, I'll upload a file. And we can all collaborate on this just like we saw in the Files tab, or we can go ahead to the browser and make these updates too. Another part that we've got here are the issues. So we can create a new issue by clicking New here. We can also create and assign risks to other people on the team. The next tab over is the Planner tab, and this is where we'll start to see those tasks that we chose to sync with Teams and Planner earlier. So when we were looking at the schedule in the browser earlier, we're looking at the schedule in the Schedule tab here. Remember that there were several tasks that I assigned named resources to, and also chose to sync with Teams and Planner, and I assigned them to a Planner bucket. When we look at the Planner tab, we see those different tasks that I assigned and chose to sync with Planner. The buckets that I assigned on the schedule are displayed here. So we have tasks displayed by bucket in this view. There are different ways that we can group these tasks. So we could group these by assigned to. We could group these by progress. And when you're interacting with these tasks, there are a couple different ways that you can update them. One is that you can click on the card and see more of the details for this task. You can also do a couple of things like add a checklist here. And you can choose whether that shows on the card or not. The same with notes. All right, so what we can do here is take a look at some of those items that we just updated on this card. Another thing that we can do to update this is we can click on this circle here. This shows, and no matter how we group these different tasks, but that's how we mark something as completed. We can also drag and drop things to in progress, which is going to translate to Project Online as 50% completed. And then we can make our scheduling updates this way. So there are a couple of different ways to group these tasks. We can also apply filters. So maybe as a team member, you're not so interested in the tasks assigned to the entire team. You might want to focus in on the tasks assigned to yourself. So you can filter that way. As a team, you might want to filter in on, what's late and what's due today and tomorrow and this week, and filter your tasks that way. In addition to groups and filters, there are also different views. So there's a list view. This is again listing out the different tasks here, and then I can mark things as completed. I can also click on them to open them up and see more details. The board view is the view that we saw originally. There's a charts view that has more kind of statistical data about your tasks. And then there's also the schedule view that helps you to visualize your tasks on an actual calendar. So another thing that we should look at while we're here, Um, One of the things that's really growing in popularity lately is tasks by Planner and To Do, or um, Microsoft Planner. So along the left navigation area here, you have the option to add different apps. You can see on mine, if I click on the ellipses, I have a choice of different apps that I can add. And then there's also an option to add more apps. There is a large number of apps that you can add here. You might notice that I've already added Tasks by Planner and To Do, formerly known as Microsoft Planner. But what this does is this will show me all of the projects that I'm assigned to with tasks right here. So it happens that today I'm only assigned to tasks on this one project, but if I had additional projects, they would all display here. And this gives me as a member or as a project manager, anyone that's assigned to tasks, it gives me the ability to be able to look at all of the tasks that are assigned to me and also just mark them completed pretty quickly. This also is synced with Microsoft To Do, which is a separate application, but you can also create your own to-do items here and mark everything off. So this is one place where you can see all of your items together. So when it comes to the Project Online to Teams integration, remember that you can choose whether or not you sync your project with Microsoft Teams and Planner. And then you can also choose for individual tasks if you're going to sync them with Teams and Planner. So this is an idea of how our team can get together and collaborate to get the work on the project done. And it also um, gives a lot of visibility to the team overall and to the actions that are happening with the team. So, anybody can easily be included in a meeting or see what was recorded. We can share documents with each other. And then we can also work on those project artifacts like the issues and the risks. And then we can use the planner tab to easily and quickly update our tasks. So as we're working along on our projects, another thing that is going to become pretty important is going to be the reporting. I'm going to go back over to the browser, to the Project Center, and I'll navigate back to the home page. One of the things I want to show you here is that we have Power BI reports. There's a Power BI report pack that we've developed that is included with this, with Project Work Ready. So there's a link here to get to the Power BI reports. And these Power BI reports, there's a dashboard that gives you a lot of high-level information. And then we can drill down here to see more specific information. Notice that the way these reports are, some of them are at the portfolio level, some of these are resource level reports, and some are project level reports. As we scroll down through here, we can start to get an idea of how our portfolio is doing overall. And then of course we can drill down here and focus in on certain projects. So there's a portfolio timeline. If we want to see what's happening during a certain timeline, we can quickly and easily adjust the timeline here and make those updates. We have a way to look at portfolio costs by project. This is a quick way to look at the upcoming milestones for the different projects in our system. And then we can also analyze the portfolio risks, portfolio issues. With the resources, there's a quick resource overview here with all of our resources listed, and then we can zero in on certain resources if we need to. This one is more related to resource assignments. So here you can see that we've got Adele selected, and what we're looking at here are the different projects that Adele is assigned to. We get an idea of the time frame and how far along Adele is with these different tasks. There's also resource details. There's a project status report here for high-level information. We could select our project here and then see, what the KPI status indicators are telling us. We can view the project objective and see where we are as far as completed milestones and the upcoming milestones. And then lastly, there's a report that looks at project risks and issues. So we can select a project here or look at all of the projects, and then we can see the different risks and issues associated with those projects.